For more on this now, I'm joined live from Washington by Ivan Eland, defense analyst from the Independent Institute, a U.S. think tank. Thanks for joining me. So Pakistan is a top U.S. ally in the region, but it's been vocal against these strikes on this territory. But if they are a strong ally, then why not have some kind of cooperation in terms of these raids, in terms of allowing NATO troops to follow suspects across the borders and complete these missions, or at least cooperate with them? What's your take?
Well, I think there is a secret agreement between Pakistan and the United States to allow U.S. forces to pursue Taliban militants 10 kilometers inside Pakistan territory. But the Pakistanis, for their own public consumption, because the Pakistani people are really anti-U.S., they have to feign surprise and anger over these attacks. And in this particular case, we don't know whether it was on purpose that these troops were killed, whether they were helping the Taliban, as Pakistani armed forces sometimes do, or whether this was an accident. But in any case, Pakistan has to pretend that it's angry about the attacks so that its own population won't be riled up about the violation of its sovereignty. But there's clearly an agreement where the U.S. can pursue Taliban fighters across the Pakistani border as long as they don't go too far into Pakistan.
So if that agreement is in effect there, then do you think it's more of a PR move, that this closure, more of a symbolic thing of this closure of the road, or do you think that this is an actual step taken by Pakistan to say, no, don't do this anymore? What's your take on that?
Well, I think it won't last very long, and I think it's probably going to amount to symbolism, and that's probably what it is, just to say, well, you know, we've got a control over you too, so don't get too rambunctious. I think that these strikes, they want to allow the U.S. to do it, but also they have to, as I say, they have this domestic problem. And so I think when they make a symbolic closure of this, it says, hey, we're a sovereign nation, and you better be careful about these things because our people aren't too thrilled with them, and the government of Pakistan is walking a tightrope.
What do you think the NATO forces and the alliance could do to make better inroads with the people of Pakistan and not just its leadership?
Well, I think they need to cut back the strikes, not increase them, because they're apparently these latest round of strikes is to prevent terrorists from attacking Europe. And last I knew, the United States was not in Europe. I mean, we're supposed to be safeguarding our own security, and I think wailing away in Pakistan just makes more enemies. So I think for the Pakistani people's sake and for the United States' sake, and also I think for the effectiveness against al-Qaeda, these drone strikes should be restricted to al-Qaeda and not even the Pakistani Taliban. I think that would help a lot, and it would avoid killing innocent Pakistani civilians.
How successful do you think? Or at
least cut down on the.
No, sure. How successful do you think the NATO fight against the Taliban would be without Pakistani support?
Well, Pakistan is a sanctuary, and of course Pakistan is playing the double game. They're our ostensible ally. At the same time, their intelligence services are helping the Taliban and actively, encouraging them in certain cases. And so, and they're not going to quit because they know the United States is going to leave Afghanistan, and that is really their only strong player that's allied with Pakistan in Afghanistan. All the Uzbeks and Tajiks are not so much aligned with the Pakistanis. So I think they regard the Taliban in Afghanistan as their chip for after the U.S. leaves. So they're not going to quit supporting the Taliban. And there's this charade that they're making an alliance with the U.S. and they do some things to catch al-Qaeda and that sort of thing, but they never really go after the Taliban, and the sanctuaries are very important for the Taliban in the war in Afghanistan. And so I think that's probably going to continue, the strikes from there, the sanctuary in Pakistan. And so I think the U.S. is going to have a hard time winning this war, and I think many people, even in the Obama administration, are thinking that.
All right, a lot of food for thought there, but we'll have to leave it there for now. Thanks much, Ivan Eland, defense analyst from the Independent Institute, a U.S. think tank.